A very good evening to you and welcome to our TV News with me, Fiona Babazi. Now, the first 14 families of the settlement of Kangondo 1 and 2 and Chibiraro 1 have now been moved to Kanombe and away from the perils associated with living in high-risk zones.
I
had a 4-bedroom house, but the water torrents that passed by it were constantly a threat that it might be swept away at any time. When we were first told that we would be relocated, I was worried because I had bought that house with a bank loan, but thank goodness everything worked out. These are very nice apartment blocks. Even the bricks that they are made of are of good quality. They have nice rooms, and so I am extremely happy.
Local officials say that the new residents are welcome to their area.
We have welcomed them, and you can see that they are happy. Shortly, we will give them the title deeds to their houses, and they will be able to use them to do things like access loans, just like any other property owner would. They have all the basic necessities and even a number they can call while they are getting accustomed to their new homes. This is a good place, and they will have no problems here because there is ample security.
Now, officials in the justice sector have announced that a modern criminal justice policy is being prepared to help them with the problem of overcrowding in the country's prisons. Overcrowding in Rwanda's prisons has now reached a percentage of 120 of design capacity than the average.
Things like community service, ankle bracelets and heavy fines are all being seen as alternatives for time behind bars and the relief to the burden the state has to bear supporting an overcrowded prison system. If I were to evade taxes, prison time would hurt not just me but the state as well. Paying fines, on the other hand, would allow me to continue my life while helping the country to develop at the same time. Lawyers, too, have noted that depending on the crime a person has committed, punishment outside the prison system is certainly possible, saying prisons should be reserved for only the worst offenders. Early releases for good behavior are also seen as helping to reduce overcrowding in the country's prisons, while top officials in the justice sector have noted that a revised criminal justice policy is taking all of this into account. Be it judges, prosecutors or even investigators, we all do not believe that the only punishment possible is imprisonment. That is why in the criminal justice policy, alternatives are being considered and will be implemented, supporting more traditional methods of dealing with such crimes. Certainly, a suspect may end up in jail, but they can also do community service instead. And ankle bracelets can also be used to monitor people without sending them to prison. The top prosecutor in the country has, however, stressed that depending on the nature of the crime a person is accused of, and the fact that they may attempt to interfere with the investigation process or tamper with evidence, provisional detention may be necessary because every case is unique in nature. A report from the justice sector has confirmed that in 2019-2020, of the more than 76,000 cases ruled on, 24% had to do with bail requests. The 2018-2019 report of the National Human Rights Commission, meanwhile, had indicated that the country had 71,000 people behind bars in a prison system designed to hold just 57,000.
Now, through the country, local leaders are now gathering new information in all cells and villages so as to implement the new social categories of Ubudehe, slated to be done between the 4th and the 6th of December this year. From the 28th of November to the 3rd of December, grassroots leaders in every cell, volunteers and the youth are now gathering and correcting information of the household in their areas so as to get the correct data of the citizens. Now, citizens are urging the officials to get the right data so that no one is left behind in the new categorization of Ubudehe. There are those who do not work from this place but are residents, and others who might have temporarily moved maybe to hospital. So I fear that they might miss out on this. Sometimes they come and they do not find us at home. So I think they have to find a way of making sure that no one is left behind. Those in charge say that no one will be left behind.
Mfite abaturage ngomba guhuza ibihumbi 2,900
I know that I have 2,894 citizens living in this cell. There are those who might have moved, so I'll also indicate on this paper. I will also find out if the people on the list are away for work, but they will certainly not be left behind. We know the citizens that live here and their numbers based on the census that was given and done. We have new citizens who might have moved here, but we have cell leaders and they all know their citizens, and that's the list we will use to confirm who is new in the area or who moved. This will now lead to the categorization of the Ubudehe from the 4th of December countrywide, as explained by Gatsinzi Justine, the Division Manager of Social Protection at Loda. We hope that January this process will be done, but it will need time to go through all the documents, confirm if there's no one who feels that they're left behind or do not belong to the category that they could have been placed under. However, January is our deadline. It is expected that about 2 million houses will be categorized under the 5 Ubudehe program with alphabetical orders of A to E and will be implemented next year in February. Now, the bodies of the 17 genocide victims given a decent burial this Sunday in Huye district after they were discovered only because the place they were hidden was excavated for developmental projects. The relatives of those given a decent burial have again urged those with such vital information of the whereabouts of the bodies of the genocide victims not to withhold such information. The survivors of the 1994 genocide that was perpetrated against the Tutsis have stressed that giving a decent burial to their loved ones helps them to heal as well. Now, the latest bodies, which are 17, are given a decent burial, are now at rest at the Ngoma Sector Genocide Memorial Site in Huye. Officials present as the bodies were given decent burials, like the Member of Parliament, Honorable Veneranda Wamaria, noted that when vital information about the whereabouts of the bodies of the genocide victims is withheld, it hinders unity and reconciliation. Now, this year in Karama Sector in Huye District, up to 100 bodies of the genocide victims were found on a plot of land where a school was going to be built, yet no one had presented the information that they were there beforehand. To other news now, economic experts in the country have noted that not making health insurance a policy has continued to affect the country's economy, while the locals also continue to miss out on the benefits.
In Rwanda, not having a car insurance is punishable by the law, while health or property insurance is not mandatory. Some of the locals, especially businessmen and women, find it challenging to put their valuable properties on insurance due to the poor management of some of the insurance companies by delaying compensations for damaged goods, hence remaining with losses. The first main reason is some people know so little about insurances, and even those that do have insurances, you find that they face a lot of challenges with insurance companies. They put their assets on insurance, but getting help when they are damaged, it's a difficult process. Sometimes it becomes a case tried before a jury or a judge, and when they pay back for the damages, they mostly offer very little money, hence discouraging to anyone who would like to join. An economic expert and professor in a university, Dr. Olahi Mutamuriza, shared an example of some of the houses or shops that catch fire in various areas across the country to explain why people need to understand that these cases are not only a loss to the individual, but also his or her family and the nation at large. He requests all citizens to get insurances for their properties. We've had many cases in different areas where houses and shops catch fire. This affects the country's economy as well as the owner because he or she loses a lot in the process. It affects the family and the children's school fees. That person faces so many problems, hence becoming a burden to the government. Versus when he or she joins an insurance company, it reduces chances of facing losses. The CEO of Sanlam V, and who is also the deputy chairman of the Rwanda Insurers Association, Hodari Jacques Chrysostome, says the major reason people don't join insurance companies, it is due to lack of planning for disastrous situations and the people that have insurances not encouraging the rest. He affirms that mistakes are made by some of the agencies, though on one hand most clients are happy with their services.
ibyo bintu kuko biriho ariko iyo urebye burya ntabwo.
I can say it's true, mistakes happen while offering our services to the people, but then not all insurance companies are to be blamed. You find that one bad service is shared among many. I won't deny the fact that some of our employees may have offered a poor service, hence creating a bad image for us. Also, in some cases, some of the people that come to us asking for insurances are not qualified or are not yet ready to have one according to the terms and conditions, and become unpleasant when we try to explain this to them. He says measures are being put in place to solve some of the challenges faced by the people with insurances. We had plans, and among them is to sensitize people or spread the awareness, and we also plan on improving on our services with the help of the National Bank through advanced technology to ease the process for anyone interested to join an insurance company, and also fasten the payment for damaged properties as stated in the agreements that we've signed with them quickly and easily. According to the Rwanda Insurers Association, the rate of monthly earners working in private companies that have insurances is 23 to 24%. They say although the numbers continue to increase, it's a small percentage. On one hand, this is a sign of hope that in the near future, numbers may increase while also including the unemployed. Jane Mutoni, reporting for RTV.
Well, on behalf of the entire news team that made this news possible, led by my news director, Janvier Murenzi, thank you very much for being part of us. My name is Fiona Mbabazi. Have yourselves a lovely evening and a good night and blessed and fruitful week ahead.